Today we will talk about a giant wall on the ocean floor that stretches from the North Pole to the South Pole. On the LifeCom portal I came across very interesting material. It is surprising that the mainstream media has begun to address topics such as the disappearance of the Great Ocean Wall. Unfortunately, in 2019 this wall was removed from all maps, but the question of why it was erased from all maps is very intriguing. Let's try to answer it together. Friends, please write your comments. I will definitely join the discussion because I think this topic is very important. They hide not just a wall but our history, our real history. In this material I use footage from an old Russian channel called Andriy. Yes, I have knowledge of Russian language and I search for material for you everywhere, not only in English sources. By the way, the videos and photos of this wall are also being removed from the internet one by one. No one knows what will happen to this video after I upload it, so if you like it, download it to your phone or computer. Why is the object at the bottom of the ocean called the Great Whiteback? And why is it being erased from all maps? This wall has been called the stone of obstruction and the cornerstone of the earth by conspiracy theorists, upon which everything rests. They claim that from the Antarctic to the North Pole, exactly along the 180th meridian, there is a wall almost 2 kilometers wide that runs along the bottom of the ocean. It literally dives under the land in the Far East and emerges from the ground in the Arctic Ocean, crossing the entire Pacific Ocean without deviating from its established course. Then it ends at the pole, which is the beginning of the prime meridian. For thousands of kilometers, symmetrical buttresses stretch along its entire length. The wall shows signs of monstrous destruction, like explosions in some places. And in some places, you can see huge gates that resemble slices. In some places, it has been reduced in height. And in some places, you can see that it's covered with the remains of stones, perhaps clay or silt. In other places, the huge wall is crisscrossed by equally huge ruts. It looks as if a colossal all-terrain vehicle had driven over the seabed. Here, the structure shows signs of having been destroyed, but it is still not completely destroyed, as if a stronger structure exists within the wall. Some roads run right through the probable gate. It is as if someone in ancient times had built paths from one side of the wall to the other. No less impressive is the seabed next to the wall. There are always pointed pyramids, mounds 1900 feet high, strange groups of vertical slabs and traces of some ancient colossal machine or something else. No one has the slightest idea what this wall is like. The flight of imagination of researchers is limited only by their imagination. Proponents of alternative history suggest that the wall could have been built by representatives of so-called ancient civilizations that allegedly existed before the flood. But why they forgot to build the second half of the wall and everything sank, history is silent. This mysterious wall could have been built by extraterrestrial beings who were supposedly visitors to our Earth at a time when the ocean was still dry, and who mined minerals there. If this is some kind of technological seam, then our Earth was really created by someone. Is it a tunnel with a length of 19,900 kilometers or a fortress wall? There is even a fantastic assumption that the wall is a regulator of the water level in the world's oceans, by raising and lowering the water level. Of course, there is a more peaceful, rational version. It's just a seam between satellite images. Google employees insist on this version. The truth is, usually seams on maps look different. They are distinctly visible, connecting photos of different times and colors. However, there are no height differences of 2 kilometers, no symmetrical buttresses, and no other details on these lines. The fact that cartographers are hiding something is indicated by the removal of the Great Wall from all online maps in 2019. Initially, some fragments remained, but then someone diligently started erasing them along with all accompanying details. So, where yesterday megalithic structures were visible, after a day, only a blurred, flat ocean floor could be observed. Quite strange behavior, isn't it? If these were truly map seams, then it would probably be worth praising attentive users, showing how they are created and leaving everything as it is. Such quirks only increase the number of content users. But no, it was decided to hide, blur, reduce the resolution of satellite photos, and pretend that nothing happened. Now it is more difficult to prove the existence of the wall. but it is also impossible to prove its absence. In fact, thanks to the efforts of cartographers who removed it from maps, the mysterious wall has turned into a real Schrodinger's cat. It both exists and does not exist. At the same time, a strange coincidence. The conclusion is that this information is deliberately kept from the public because it might arouse people's curiosity, which begs the question, why does the wall, which people could not know about until recently, coincide exactly with the 180th meridian, which is opposite the main meridian passing through the Greenwich Observatory in London? Before 1880, different countries had their own prime meridians. For example, Russia counted longitude from the meridian passing through the Pulkovo Observatory in St. Petersburg. Sweden considered that the zero meridian passes through Stockholm, and Brazil through Rio de Janeiro. It wasn't until 1884, after much discussion, the Anglo-Saxons insisted on unifying the prime meridian through Greenwich. What is the probability that scientists, out of millions of possible lines from pole to pole, chose the meridian opposite the mysterious ocean wall? It's probably close to zero. Thus, everything looks non-random. By the way, among the scientists who initiated this discussion was a very strange and interesting person. Sir Sandford Fleming, a Canadian of Scottish descent. He not only advocated for the introduction of a single time on Earth, but also proposed that the prime meridian pass exactly through the mysterious wall. That is, along the 180th meridian. His idea was rejected, probably because everything would have become too clear then. If Fleming is mentioned now, it is usually as a geodesist and engineer. There is a version that he was an influential Freemason and had equally influential friends. Does this mean that these people already knew something back then? There is no answer. To verify that the wall really existed on maps, it can be checked, for example, near Antarctica, where there are still places where the map is not cleaned. Here, the wall disappearing under the continent has a height of only 620 feet. Some scientists note that in this area of the Ross Sea, square icebergs, often originating from Antarctic glaciers, frequently appear. Authors of scientific articles studying the appearance of such unusual ice mention the mysterious wall in the journal Nature Geoscience as one of the possible factors influencing the ice's shape. Scientists refer to the wall as an ancient stone structure that extends from the pole and speculate about tectonic imprints on the bathymetry of the ocean floor, magnetic anomalies, and the boundary between East and West Antarctica. Moreover, scientists also suggest that the wall may continue beneath the icy armor of the continent. All of this only adds to the mystery surrounding the Great White Wall, which was known long before the advent of satellite maps. In the Republic of Fiji, it is close to the ocean's surface, and local divers are well acquainted with it, even offering tourists the opportunity to swim along it. The wall is covered with white corals and extends to a depth of 1 kilometer. Divers who have seen it describe it as something unprecedented, and they have not encountered anything similar elsewhere, being amazed by the scale of the structure. Interestingly, independent exploration of the wall is prohibited under the pretext of protecting the corals. By a strange coincidence, in the same republic, there is Robbie Island, which is not easily noticeable on maps. Most of the island is hidden from curious eyes as it is situated directly on the wall. It is not excluded that it is already being thoroughly studied. My name is Professor Aristotle. See you on the channel.